Japanese, they decided to use their common sense. They had homemade uniforms, and they decided to wear their Red Cross armbands. The Japanese didn't know what to do with them either. There were no women in the Japanese military. So what they did is they shipped them all back to Manila, and they went into a civilian prison camp called Santo Tomas internment camp. Now convert just the men who went into the horrific military camps. Just to give you a little statistic, if you became a POW in Europe with the Nazis, you had a 40%, a 3% mortality rate. In the Philippines, 40% mortality rate. That's pretty significant. Well, the nurses got into this prison camp, and they had strong leaders. These are not leaders that we think touchy-feely or making sure you were doing okay. These were tough women, and they needed that at the time. They set up a hospital in the prison camp. There were 3,000 civilian prisoners, everyone from Spanish-American war vets to newborns, and they worked with the intern physicians. They really, also they kept together. And Americans often show great, they can get by, they can adapt to what's going on. And two quick stories from the nurses. When the Navy nurses surrendered to the Japanese, they knew they were going to take the medicines, and they didn't want to give up their quinine because of the malaria. So these nurses decided to mislabel everything, and they took adhesive tape and they put it on the medicines, and they labeled quinine sodium bicarbonate, and they kept the malaria, and the Japanese kept the baking soda. When the nurses got into camp, one of them had a shawl. Well, it wasn't a shawl, it was a flag from the Quartermaster Corps. They'd gotten it when they left Corregidor, and the Japanese found it, and these women knew that they would be shot if they realized it was a military flag. So one of them just put it around as a shawl with its fringe, marched around with the Japanese, and they kept that flag. And it's now in the Quartermaster Museum in Virginia. Well, these women thought they'd be in camp a little while. 1942 turned into 1943. They'd say to each other, we'll be home by my birthday, we'll be home by Easter, we'll be home by Christmas. At least in 1943, word got out that they were just missing in action, that they weren't dead. 1944, the war wasn't going well for the Japanese, and the conditions in these camps got worse. People started to die from starvation. The older people died, and the parents died first because they gave their food to the young people. These nurses had very, they had malaria, they had everything. But every day they went to work. Every day they worked in that hospital because it was good work, and they knew that they were needed among these people. And working in the hospital, they also realized that they were always people worse than them. Well, they started to talk about who's going to get us first in 1945, the Vultures or the United States Marine Corps and Army. In 1945, one night, tanks crashed through the camp, and they were liberated. It was a time where they realized they'd lived in a capsule for 3 years. They'd never heard of K rations. They'd never heard of penicillin. But they got to work. And they were quickly brought home from the camp. And here's the point that they always ask me to make when I talk to people about their experiences. 77 women became prisoners of war in 1942. 77 women walked out of that camp in 1945. And these were not all 23 and 23-year-old nurses. Their chief nurse, Maud Davison, was 60 years old when she was liberated. The people who she served with put her up for a Distinguished Service Medal. They felt that her leadership in keeping this group of women alive in prison camp with no oversight was something that deserved a Distinguished Service Medal. It went all the way up to the chain of command, and she was denied in Washington. And she was denied in Washington because the certificate said she is only a nurse, and nurses and women cannot have roles of responsibility in the war. So she got a lesser medal. But I have to say, when my book came out on that, some women in Washington went forward, and 65 years after she was put up for the medal, she got the medal posthumously. It was a great tribute to women. They came home, they faded from memory, these women. They were never acknowledged by our government. When we did the POW studies in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, these women were never included, although it was quite an opportunity to see what starvation and disease and what prisons would do to women, but they didn't. They kept in touch with one another. And as one of them said to me, I know these women as well as I know the back of my hand. I came to know them well. They were honest women, they were humane women, but they were serious women. When you were with them, you never left food on your plate or you heard about it. And over again, they would say to me that don't sweat the small stuff. That was what they learned in prison camp. In 2013, Mildred Dalton Manning, who lived in West Trenton, New Jersey, died. She was the last of the prisoners of war. I knew her well. She's buried in Washington Crescent Military Cemetery in Newtown. She was the last woman standing. And I talked to her a great deal. Again, this is the largest group of female POWs in the history of our country. She talked about the legacy. And one day when we were chatting, she said something to me that I think says it all. She said, we spent our lives helping people, and we did it with honor and love. How true. Thank you. And I hope, thanks to all the veterans here.